In this lesson, we're going to just do some practice multiplying a fraction by a whole number. So yesterday, or the last time we did math, you learned about multiplying a fraction by a whole number, okay? So if we are doing a recap of what we did, let's think about, let's go to an actual pen. Here we go. Okay. So we can think about this number 12. We're not even going to look at fractions yet. We're going to think about the number 12, and I can think of it as being 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, right? 3, 6, 9, 12. I can also think of 12 in a different way, though. So I'm thinking of it as addition right here, but I can also think of it in terms of multiplication. So if I'm doing that, I'm going to say there are 4. And when I think of this x, I can think of groups of 4 groups of 3. So 12 is equal to 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, but it's also equal to 4 groups of 3. So let's think about that now with our unit fractions and with our regular fractions. So I have the number 3/7. And if I am breaking that up using addition, I'm going to think of these as pulling out unit fractions. And remember, the unit fractions are 1 over some number. I'll just put x, okay? So 3/7 is going to be broken into 1/7 plus 1/7 plus 1/7, right? If I drew a big bar right here, ooh, that's a weird looking bar. We'll try and do it even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pretend this is even. And I have 3/7. Well, this is 1/7 plus 1/7 plus 1/7, right? They're all equal pieces that are breaking up to equal this one whole. Now that I figured out how to do this in addition, I'm going to use my multiplication. I can do it the same way. So 3/7 is the same as 3 groups, so 1, 2, 3, groups of 1/7. Okay, so let's try an example over here. Let's say I have 4/3. Well, I could do, it's the same as 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3. And 4/3 could also be, if I'm using multiplication, 4 groups of 1/3. Okay. This lesson is also going to ask you to practice with multiplying, right? Multiplying a fraction times a whole. So let's say I'm given the example of 16 times 3/8. This is a really big number, so that's why we're going to do it together. So I know from this, from looking at these examples, that when I'm multiplying, I'm still just multiplying the whole number times the top. I'm leaving the bottom number the same, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and carry this 8 over here. So now I need to do 16 times 3. Well, 16 times 3 48. Okay, so 16 times 3 is 48. Now, if I'm looking at it, that's a really big number, and it's an improper fraction. It's one of those fractions greater than a whole, which we don't really like to have like this. So I think I can change this number to be a whole number and a fraction, or I can change it into a mixed number. And what I want you to do is I want you to think of this as division. So 48/8 is the same thing as saying 48 divided by 8. Okay, so whatever number is on top, that would be our dividend. Remember from when we learned that with division. So now I'm thinking, how many groups of 8 can I take out of 48? Or 8 times what is going to give me 48? And I know 6 times 8 is 48. which means that 48/8 is actually 6 wholes, right? Because 8 times 6 is 48. Let's do a quick problem over here. So I'm going to give you a word problem. So let's say Gracie, she's going to be in our problem today. She has 3 Goosebumps books. I loved Goosebumps growing up, and Gracie has a bunch too. Okay, so Gracie has 3 Goosebumps books, and each of those books, they weigh 5/8 of a pound. Pretty heavy book. And I want to know how much do all 3 of her books weigh together? Well, we know with our practicing of multiplying a fraction times a whole number, if I think of that, I'm multiplying a fraction times a whole number. So I'm going to take 3 times 5/8. And once again, we know that I'm going to multiply my whole number times the top number, and this one over here is just going to get carried over. So 3 times 5 is going to give me 15. So 15/8 is another weird number, right? We don't like improper fractions. It's a little difficult to see. How much is 15/8 pounds? It's obviously more than 1 pound, but it's kind of tricky. So we are going to, let me start another one. Oops. Give us some room, okay? So we have 15/8. That's what we know so far. So I want to know how many groups of 8 can I take out of 15? Well, I know I can take out one whole group, right? I can take out 8/8 from here. And now when I think about how many I have left, if I started from 8, I'm going to count up 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I have 7 more out of the total of 8. So Gracie's 3 books, we have 3 books that each weighed 5/8 of a pound, is equal to 15/8. And then when we change that to our mixed number, remember a mixed number is a whole number and a fraction, it's going to be 1 7/8. And we want to add our label, pounds. Okay, so practice this and good luck.